Black Clover fans, I come bearing good news and bad news. And you're going to want to subscribe and hit that bell to get all notifications so I could keep you up to date on all the craziness that is going on right now with Black Clover. And the bad news we're going to get through first, and then we're going to get to the good news, so that way we end off in positivity. Although, to be fair, I'm going to be warning you that the good news does lie within a few major spoilers. But the bad news is straight up, hands down, that Black Clover, unfortunately, the hiatus has been defined, because yesterday, in case you missed it, it was announced and confirmed that Black Clover was going to be going on an extended hiatus. It wasn't just going to be the 1 week that it normally does here and there. It was like, hey, it's going on a short hiatus. Considering the fact that it wasn't defined, I said, hey, that's indefinite. You're not giving me an answer. Short could mean anything. Short to somebody is 100 years, while short to somebody is 5 minutes, right? So that's indefinite to me. So I was like, okay, it's short. They don't know when, but all right. And then today, boom, we got the massive announcement that, for starters, Black Clover, after its hiatus that will extend for 3 months, Black Clover's manga hiatus will enter a 3-month hiatus. It will return May, June, July. So basically, in July, Black Clover should be returned with its next chapter. And ultimately, the other very unfortunate announcement is that when Black Clover returns, it is to enter its final arc. So Black Clover is ending. It is going into its final arc, and it's having a 3-month hiatus prior to that, so that way Yuki Tabata can do what needs to be done. In fact, the official press release says here from the unofficial Weekly Shonen Jump account that Black Clover by Yuki Tabata will be entering a 3-month break starting issue 23 in order to prepare for the final arc chapter of the series. And wow, because initially everybody's going to be thinking, oh my god, so what's going to happen next? And the mistake that I don't want to make is I don't want to dread Black Clover's ending. I did that with Naruto. I did that with Dragon Ball Super's anime. I dreaded them coming to an end, and I'm not going to make the same mistake with Black Clover. So I'm going to look at it from a different perspective, in terms of I'm going to be more appreciative and positive about it. Yes, Black Clover's last chapter, 330, it was terrible. Just in general, the end of that arc was really bad. However, the good news, the great news, the best news of all of this, in spoiler territory of chapter 331, the final chapter of Black Clover that we're going to get prior to this massive break. People, we have some breaking news. As I was editing this, the editorial staff at Shonen Jump, along with Yuki Tabata, added some extra comments about the break. Let's read. Thank you for always reading Black Clover. Black Clover will be absent starting next issue in order to prepare for its final arc. After consulting this matter with Yuki Tabata, it has been decided for the mangaka to take a rest for a certain period of time and then go back to write the continuation of the series. Due to these circumstances, this break is expected to last about 3 months. We will inform you for more exact dates and upcoming issues of Weekly Shonen Jump. We apologize to all the readers who are looking forward to the series, but we hope you all understand. We look forward to your continued support of Black Clover, Weekly Shonen Jump editorial department. And then Tabata followed that up with saying, if I were to follow my own feelings, I would have kept drawing without a rest, but after having a thorough discussion with the editorial department, and in order for me to draw the manuscripts of the final arc at my best, I will be taking a long break. I'm sorry to all readers that look forward to the series every week. Black Clover will be getting even more exciting, and I will be back to put out all my strength and spirit to finish it properly. So I hope you can wait until then. Wow. Okay, so they wanted to put it out there that, hey, they're just giving him a nice good rest before the final arc, similar to what they did to Tite Kubo. Tite Kubo, prior to the ending of Bleach, I think they gave him 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. They're giving Tabata 3 months. So I'm going to give them praise and respect if that's truly the case, because that's admirable. Let your author rest before the finale that could last years. And I'm not even gonna lie, if you don't want to know about spoilers, I'm highly encouraging you to hightail it out of here, because I'm going to be talking about the final chapter of Black Clover prior to the break, and it is massive, insane, and easily the reason why you should continue wanting to read Black Clover, because it is the greatest plot twist the series has ever had thus far. Let's read. Black Clover going on hiatus, final arc, the one who will reach the strongest wizard king. Title, and the time starts to move. Seal says, you really are safe. You've become so splendid. Then the Spade simps are asking for Yuno if he'll return to Spade, to which Yuno says, and he doesn't give an answer, Asta is happy his mother loved him. He realized it was his mom based on Leave's memories. I told you! I said it! I called it! That they were fused together, they became one, they were overlapping, they became one. I told you! Meanwhile, Yuno is giving a speech about all he needs to protect in Clover Kingdom, etc. Yuno's speech and Asta's convo with Leave ends up with the same declaration. Asta is talking his idealistic ideals about how he'll ensure people in Clover know Leave is a good guy. That's not gonna work. Middle text says, Black Clover, we're back to Clover Kingdom. Damnatio, and Julius says something doesn't add up. Magicula is not a Quillforth devil. Damnatio to Julius. Please tell me you are not the devil that has saved our country. Lucius so gratis. The text technically says so gratis, but that's probably a typo. And the last page, I'm filled with time. And just looking at this, for starters, I called a lot of this. I have between a tweet that I put out a little minute ago where I said, oh snap, the Japanese voice of Julius from Black Clover also voiced Griffith in the 1997 Berserk anime. And if you know anything about Griffith, he was a traitor that did some horrible things at the end of his series. Not to mention, I also had a whole big video saying, hey, I think Julius is the final Zogratis sibling, which a lot of people had that theory too, but I'm just saying I was in the right direction. And fam, looking at this chapter when he says it's me and he looks like he's scared for a moment, Julius, like if he doesn't have, and he's like, is that what you wanted to hear? And it looks like Tabata didn't drop bodies in the last arc for whatever reason, but I think Julius just killed Damnatio. And then on top of that, a Dramalek comes through the window, which he kind of reminded me in a way of like a more pretty boy design of like Ryuk from Death Note. Like the way he flies through the window, it just kind of looks like a scene out of Death Note for a moment. And the Dramalek saying, I really turned out the way you said it with Lucius so gratis. And then he says, I'm filled with time, you know? And he looks straight up like an older version of the one brother that died. And it's crazy, him with the sun there. I'm wondering like, okay, the real Julius never existed. It was always a facade this entire time, because it would make sense, honestly. Even the very beginning of Black Clover, go to the Black Clover anime, I mean, it starts off with Julius hiding who he is and walking around town and stuff like that. Like, there's so many hints all over the series, and this is exactly what Black Clover needed going into the final arc to make things exciting. Like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, the last arc, it was rough, there was some problems, but this is exactly what the series needed. I'm so hyped. I can't believe I was kind of on the money on that one. And also, we got to talk real quickly about how long is Black Clover going to go, right? If we are chapter 331, the final chapter prior to the big massive 3-month hiatus, how much longer do we got? I'm gonna say like this. I remember when Naruto announced that it was going into the final arc and whatnot. Likewise, kind of with Bleach, but in particular, I remember very specifically with Naruto, it said it was going into the final arc and it lasted 5 more years. Shonen manga don't last as long as it did in the previous gen. I say it goes about half, especially something like Black Clover. So I'm gonna say, with all of that being said, if Naruto went 5 years, I'm gonna say that Black Clover has a solid 2 years ahead of it, unless they really want to rush it out the door, and Tabata got to do it in 1. That's what I'm going to call, because if we're going into the finale, this arc alone lasted quite a few years, right? This whole thing against the 3 Zogratis siblings and Magicula and everything, that lasted a few years. The final arc ideally should last long too, so who knows? Black Clover could go for 2 more years, it could go for 5 more years. I think that this is also a possibility with this big break to do a big time skip. If this is like, hey, they're vying for Wizard King, status and whatnot, this would be a perfect opportunity to switch things up, because at the end of the day, just because right there Damnatio was killed doesn't mean everybody's going to immediately know that this is a traitor. I would love, let's get a break, let's get a time skip, let's get Asta and Yuno a little bit older so the whole Wizard King situation can become a real thing and not feel like, oh, they're still kind of young. And at the same time, with Black Clover, with all the hate that I got in the last one, I think now they can afford to get a little riskier with changing things. I'm just saying. But wow, people, very, very big and explosive info. Final arc, 3-month hiatus, Black Clover's big plot twist with Julius, insane. Curious what you guys think. For starters, how do you feel about Lucius Zogratis all along? Do you think the real Julius that we know of the entire series really was there somewhere? Was that all an act? Your thoughts on Lucius Zogratis? Maybe he's not completely evil. Maybe he started off evil. Maybe being with the people of the Clover Kingdom might have softened him up in certain areas, because we've seen Julius really kind of even look benevolent. Or maybe all of that changed once the gates of the devil world, maybe that's when Julius was reminded of who he really is. And your overall thoughts and expectations for the future of Black Clover? Wow, what a day. But that's all I have for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and yeah, it's crazy. And the Black Clover.